try not to jiggle the table.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Ready. Don't touch the table.
You can touch it.
Okay.
Just don't rock it.
Okay.
So, welcome to the Galloping Horse. Video number 5, maybe? 4?
I thought it was 4, but I really don't know.
I think it might be 4.
You're in charge of remembering the numbers.
Yeah, well, I'll make sure that it has the right number when I post it.
Okay, good.
So, I'm Emily.
I'm Cindy.
And Galloping Horse is our quilting studio, and you can see behind us we have our long arm machine, which doesn't have anything currently mounted on it, but we'll show you a bunch of things today.
Yeah.
And we're going to also, at some point in this, when it seems good to me while I'm doing the tiny amount of editing that I do, cut to another segment that we filmed downstairs at the larger design wall.
Right.
Because we're beginning to lay out a quilt that we'll talk about when we're down there.
A big quilt.
Yeah, a big quilt that we can't really, we've talked about it here before, but I think we should start with your quilt right here.
My elephant?
Yes.
Okay. So this is the last thing that came off of Lucy. And I don't know if you can see the quilting, but I quilted it in rows, the rows of the backing, and I'm pretty pleased with it.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if we can get so that the light will show the texture, but you did a great job. Such a lot of variety of quilting designs in the rows.
Yep. We made, there's a little pocket. So that's pretty cute. It's going to be for my baby granddaughter. And on the back, there are hummingbirds.
Are they upside down? I don't know.
They're all over.
I don't know. Maybe. Let's try this. I don't know. Maybe they're
They are upside
all
down.
over. Whatever they are,
Oh well.
it doesn't matter.
Oh well.
And this beautiful pink, that is stunning. Now the whole thing is upside down, but stunning binding on that.
But the hummingbirds are right side up. It'll be a thing about this quilt.
That's right. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine. I mean, it will be a thing. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that you've been working on that for a while. I think one of our earlier videos we showed the elephant partially in pieces, and
Oh, right.
that's what it was.
Yep. All I have to do is sew the binding on.
So, what else are we going to talk about? We actually have a list because we're afraid. So another thing, actually, we're afraid we were going to forget is what
It's a list of our fears.
There's a very long list. Yeah, you'll be here a while if we start talking about that. So I'm going to also insert some pictures in here of quilts, 2 different quilts that we recently quilted for a client. Her first name is Ellen, and maybe she'll watch this video because she said, please send me the link. So we will. And thanks, Ellen, for trusting us with your quilts. And I was thrilled with how gorgeous they were and how they turned out, I thought.
Beautiful quilts. Yeah. Beautiful quilts.
So the first one I'll put some pictures in is a disappearing hourglass pattern. And I just love that pattern. I mean, it turned out really dramatic for such a simple beginning.
Right.
I mean, hourglass is a very easy block to make, and
Yeah.
then you cut it in a special way and you get some magic. So
Turned out really, really beautiful, and the fabrics that she chose were just darling, a set of.
And really, the use of the gray sashing and background was great.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I don't have those pictures in front of me, so I can't remember if it has sashing, but it definitely has gray background.
Yeah.
Then the second quilt that we did for her is a little smaller quilt, but it's a foundation paper pieced pattern by Kristy Lee, whose website I'll put in the description box in case you want to check her out. But we were blown away by the workmanship of Ellen in that quilt, the color selections, and the fabric selections that she chose to represent the colors that were in the pattern, and it was an honor to work on that.
Yeah, it really was. It was.
Yeah.
So
and
nice.
Again, a beautiful gray background setting off those blocks, which
But it was a different gray, and it was just like this really rich, which you'll see the picture.
And I think for me, it taught me that I don't need to use stark contrast to set things off, because both of those quilts have moderate contrast between the background. So it didn't have to be white or black.
Yeah.
The grays really were nice.
Yeah.
So we plan to actually use grays in that Afternoon Delight quilt, which maybe I'll insert those videos right now, since I'm talking about it. And so we're going to shift to that right now. So what am I looking at, Cindy?
It's a quilt called Afternoon Delight, and it is a block of the month from 2020. And we decided that we would try some hand applique, which neither one of us had really done much of at all. And Emily didn't think she liked hand applique because, well, I don't know why, because she sews with her hands all the time. But we did it, and it was 2020, so we ended up finishing all of the hand applique inside of that year. Emily did half and I did half. And so the funny thing was, we thought the hand applique would be hard and the rest of it would be easy. But it's now halfway through 2023, and we have just now finished all the machine parts.
Which we thought would be the easy part.
Right, but we finished the hand applique in no time. It was amazing and fun. We both really enjoyed it.
Well, and the fact that we were working from home, at least partially during 2020, gave us some extra time.
We could do some sewing while we were on phone calls and whatnot.
And this is, what's laid out here is not the whole quilt.
No.
Because we just laid out enough to get an idea.
Yeah. We got some new tools and learned some new skills, like these little circles. We learned how to make circles. That was new that year. Emily found that. And stems. We learned how to do stems. And we have stories about some of the quilts, some of the blocks. Like this one, you'll never guess what that fabric is. Should we tell?
I think we should tell.
You tell. It's your fabric.
It's green peppers. But it was a perfect green.
Yes, and it amuses us to no end.
And you can sort of see that it's green peppers if you look at that little part right there.
Right there. Yep.
And then we love this block up here.
This one.
Yes, the polyps.
Polyps. We didn't know if we would be able to do that one because of so many polyps, and they're not very even, but
neither are they in nature.
Yeah.
Cindy did that block.
That's the polyps.
And this is a shoe fly block. There are 9 of those in here, and then the 9 patch blocks, which hold them all together. There's 64 of those, and that's what we just finished last night.
Yeah. And are there any other good stories of?
I don't know. We can tell more. I'm sorry, I just probably made everybody seasick. This is a cog. This is a cog.
Look at this pretty one.
I like that one. I made it.
Yep.
I fussy cut the ladybugs to fit in those little circles.
Yeah.
This is the propeller blades.
Yeah. Should we say it's a pattern by Sue Garman?
Yeah.
We got it from the Quilt Show, Block of the Month, 2020.
Yeah.
But lots of fun. We're planning to finish it this year.
Yes, we sure are.
Yeah, but we need to
get moving on it.
Moving on it.
We I mean, I think we've shown you some of these blocks before.
Yeah.
We think that there is a category in the North Carolina State Fair for dual. I like how that one turned out. for dual
For two makers.
two makers. And if there is, then we're going to enter this in the state fair.
Oh, that one's pretty. I like that one.
Yeah.
And I think we each redid one block.
I don't think we did.
Oh, I redid the first one I did. I redid it because it was terrible.
Well, I think this might have been the first one I did, or
Well,
no,
pretty
there's
good.
another one. Maybe it was this one. That one. And I think I might redo it, but Cindy tells me not to.
I know. I think this might be the redo of my first block.
Yeah, that could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what I did with the original.
You probably pitched it because
I didn't want to show it.
you didn't want me to put it in the video.
That's right.
Okay.
But anyway, so that's that.
Okay.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
And now we're back. For us, it was just magically second of looking at each other. Hopefully that was enough of a place for me to make a cut. And if it wasn't, I'll stick something in there and you won't know that I had to do extra editing maybe. So what, do you have other things that you're actively working on that you have available? Not really.
Not really.
Because we
were going to talk about the Hoffman Challenge.
Oh, yes.
For this year.
So this year's Hoffman Challenge is a little different from I think it's their 100th or something, which 100th year of their company. They haven't been doing a Hoffman Challenge.
Yeah, yeah.
But this year it was a collection of 15 spectacular blue batiks. Different values, and I wasn't going to do it, remember? And then I saw the bundle of fat quarters, and something came over me, and I bought them. But they're gorgeous.
Every single one is gorgeous.
Yeah, every one alone and as a group, they're really pretty.
Yeah.
And so my thought is, I might not enter the challenge because I think the deadline is maybe in August, and I just don't know. I think that's crazy. Mm-hmm. But aren't they pretty? The 15. And I bought an extra 2 yards of this one, which is the second lightest of them, to use as background or whatever.
And I may have succumbed to my thread problem.
Oh, I forgot about the thread.
Yeah. And so I got a little set of the threads, which are
supposed to coordinate.
Yeah. And they're really, you can't really see them all in this box, but they're all blue.
Yeah.
I do love my blues.
Well, and look what color we're wearing today.
We both love blues.
So that is this year, 2023-24 Hoffman Challenge. And the rules of that are you have to make a quilt of, that's no more than 160 inches around, I think. It doesn't have to be 40 by 40.
And you have to use 5 of them.
You have to use, this year, you have to use 5 of these fabrics in recognizable amounts.
Yeah.
But you can use other fabrics as well. But in past years, we have entered. And so this was one of Cindy's quilts.
2004.
Wow.
And this was the first.
That was almost 20 years ago.
I know. This is the first year Emily made me enter in a contest. I'm not that much of a contest
I'm
person.
pretty sure this might be the only year that you entered a contest.
It might be.
So far.
Well, I put something in the state fair.
Oh, right. I did make you do that, too.
Anyway.
But this is the fabric that was that year, and it's butterfly wings, and we really liked it. And I meant to bring, maybe I'll take some pictures of the quilts that I made. So Cindy made this one, and I made one, which was a cathedral window quilt. And then together we made one that I have hanging in my son's room.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I think it was called...
I forgot. There were 2.
There were 3 quilts altogether that we made.
Yeah.
At least.
It was a long
time ago. And, we were both... I wasn't working full-time. Yes, I was working full-time.
2004, I was working
I was
part-time.
working part-time and you were working part-time. Maybe that's how we could do it back then.
Yeah.
But another year I made a quilt, which I can put a picture in, of the Hoffman Challenge. which we liked that fabric too, but Cindy didn't have time to participate in it. And then after that, it kind of changed. It changed into they would choose a fabric and some coordinating fabrics. And the main fabric was really geared toward fussy cutting, which was not our thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we weren't as attracted to the fabric, and seeing the winning entries over the several years, it wasn't our style.
Mm-hmm.
I think quilting in general, that is competition quilting or just exhibition quilting, changed into much more of less of a traditional quilt imagined in colorful ways and more into pictures and art stuff, which I love to look at it.
Yeah.
But I can't do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But this year, I won't enter. Unless something happens to me and I have a week when I'm not allowed to do anything else, then I could come up with something.
If you need to go on a prednisone taper or something.
Oh yeah, then I only need 2 hours of sleep per night, then I would be able to enter the Hoffman Challenge.
Yeah.
Let's hope for that.
Yeah. We can get out there in the poison ivy.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
All right. What else do you have?
The other thing I have is something I showed a block of, maybe 2 blocks before. But this is the quilt I'm making for my friend Anne, which is a long time overdue in a way. So I think I showed this.
That shows up so nicely on the
Well, I think
video.
there's some bleed through of light from behind too.
I guess.
But this is the fabric that is the main fabric, which is just beautiful, isn't it? I mean, it's quite luminous because there's light behind it, but it's luminous anyway. And this block is called the Missouri Star, which I learned to make it on a Missouri Star tutorial.
And you want to hold up this next to it?
Well, in a moment. This is a small Missouri Star, same block. And then I made some bear's paws. So you can tell that there's light shining through that because there's a shadow I can move. But again, mostly that accent fabric is the thing. And then I'm making some flying geese units. This is going to be a medallion quilt, I think.
A central.
Yeah, so this is the central block, and then it's going to have flying geese next to it. And then these blocks, the small, Anne has not seen this sort of as well developed an idea yet, and hopefully she's watching. So these blocks will go every other around it. And then I also was experimenting with a smaller flying geese, which I don't think this is going to be right. I don't think I'm going to use it in the top, but the whole quilt is going to be giant.
So you'll have a place for.
There's going to be a 20-inch drop off of each side to go down the sides of the bed. And I'm going to do mostly it's just going to be strips of the beautiful fabrics. This fabric, this batik, as well as some others, and maybe down, I don't know, and some flying geese strips, and maybe some 9-patch strips, and some whatever all I get inspired to make. So this has been I get sort of going on it and I say, okay, this is what I'm going to make. I've got it. And then I either make some blocks and don't like it, or I make some blocks and don't like the size. So I have to then sort of pause and rethink. But now I think I really do have a plan, so I'm moving forward. And the deadline is very inspiring. Because Anne is coming in August. There's going to be one seam that has to be done after the quilt is quilted, between one part and another part. And she says she's going to sew that. So I have to have it done before she comes.
Ready for her.
Yeah. And then because, as if you watch my other videos about cross stitch, you know that there's a certain degree of insanity of how many years am I going to live, and how many hours are there in a day, and how many days are there in a week. All these things are apparently not understood by my mind. And I think a couple years ago when I bought this pattern, I showed it. But I really like that, and I want to make it. And I might buy fabrics that are that color,
Mm-hmm.
those colors.
Solids.
To make it. But I also happened to come across in a catalog the same pattern done in these blue batiks. And that's quite nice in its way. And I think that what I take from this is the same pattern worked in different fabrics can look so different, but both be nice. But I'm really more drawn to the solids, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I think. It might be either interspersed. I might order the fabric or figure out fabric. Maybe I have some of it already.
Check out your stash.
I do have some fabric. Think about fabric for this. Sort of set it, get it ready to go, because it's also quite simple. It's not a challenging quilt to piece. So I could probably put a few blocks together while I'm in my musing stage on Anne's quilt. So, yeah.
Yep.
So what do you have coming up, quilting wise or sewing wise?
I'm gonna design a quilt for a friend, and I'm in the part of the design phase where I just think about it and look at Pinterest and draw pictures in my notebook. So that's the next big thing. I also have other things sort of ongoing, but I also need to make those valances for Benj and Rena, which I haven't started yet, but they won't take long. Maybe I'll whip them up this week.
Yeah. Cindy
if
used
I
to
get sick and have to stay home from work.
Yeah. Cindy used to do window treatments as a business.
Yeah.
Custom window treatments.
Yeah. Then I had to get a real job.
And her house has custom window treatments in every room, and they're very
Except
nice.
For this room.
Yeah. Not here.
Not here. How would you choose?
Well, and we like that window to open fully.
Yes.
To let the light in.
Yes.
And so we can spy on the neighbors.
Maybe.
Hope they don't watch.
Maybe. We can watch the sunset from that window.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
And watch the storms roll through.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe we'll look at window treatments and on another
Yeah. Oh, we could do a little
day.
Tour of Cindy's house.
Yeah.
And you still have a clothing item you're making for your granddaughter, or are you between items on that?
I'm between items. I bought this fabric thinking it would be a sweet little dress, a little lightweight summer dress, and it wrinkles like crazy.
Oh.
And I just don't think it's going to be a baby's dress for when the daddy and mama, I'm not sure if they have an iron, so
yeah,
I'll do something else with that.
Yeah, it wouldn't
be sweet. I was going to make a dress with a little, sailor collar. I'm a sucker for a sailor collar dress.
It's very fine.
Yeah, it's very fine. But so I don't have that for her. But there are other things
down here. I didn't just throw that on the floor. There's a shelf.
Oh, there's a shelf. So I just saw, I haven't told you this yet, but I was looking at an embroidery website, and it had, you could do little felt doll clothes, like paper doll clothes. And that's what that thing was, they wanted you to buy the pattern for the paper doll clothes. So I thought there must be paper dolls. So there are. So I'm going to look into that.
Oh, wow. That
and
sounds
make her
like
some
fun.
little felt paper dolls. That would be
a lot of
super
fun. It's fun to have a little girl to stitch for. My child is a boy, and I'm thankful, because if he had been a girl and wanted to only wear ribbons and dresses, I wouldn't have known how to dress him, because I don't dress that way. I never have. Well, I did when I was a little girl, but so I'm thankful that I had a boy. But it wasn't conducive to do fancy sewing for him. I made him some little shorts.
Halloween costumes.
And I made him Halloween costumes. Yeah. So I don't know that we have anything else major to talk about today.
Yeah, that's probably enough.
Yeah.
They've had enough out of us.
So thanks so much for tuning in. If you are normally watching my floss tube and variety show, I think there will be a regular video later this week. I'm going to try to put this one up before that one would come up. So, and I should have mentioned that today is May 28th, 2023, in case anyone's keeping
cold
track.
And rainy holiday weekend.
Yeah, which I think it's supposed to be nice tomorrow, though.
Oh, good.
Or nicer.
Maybe I'll power wash the deck tomorrow.
Oh.
Probably not, though.
You can come over and power wash our deck.
Well, I definitely am not going to be doing that.
Okay, so you see there's a lot of things that one could do on the holiday weekend. I hope whatever you're doing, you're having fun with. Maybe you're in your sewing room or your stitching chair or whatever. And thanks so much for watching.
Bye-bye.
Bye.